Hey everybody, good morning. We are at the Domine Eduard Osok Airport, also known as Sorong Airport in Indonesia. And we were supposed to fly to another airport here in Indonesia, Sultan Babula. But that would make a short video compared to all the other ones. So I made the executive decision to skip that one. We are not going to stay in Indonesia, but we are flying to the Philippines, Francisco Bangoy International Airport. So let's get set up and get going. We may need the batteries on. And of course the vanishing yoke is an important one here. Rolling up knobs. Alright, that looks pretty good. Let's fire that puppy up. And wait for the system to keep booting. Now, as we're going to be mostly over sea, our altitude will be 8,000. And as we can see on VatSim, we are currently right here. Our area is not outlined in blue, so there is no ATC online, meaning we're going to stay at 122.8. Here we go. That is set up. Then the transponder starting to become a ritual. 1200. Let's put it on as well. And we're pretty much good to go. Let's release the parking brake. Have a bit of a pushback. Taxi out. And get going. And we're going to taxi out to this end of the runway, make a turn, take off, and then follow the magenta line. You gotta love those invisible pushback thingies, which do not scratch the paint. Don't you dare, Mr. Bus Driver. Alright, that should do. And with him out of the way, look at him. Making donuts on the tarmac. Taxi lights on. Whoa. How about a shake? Still looking okay, doing some final checks here. And we should be good to go. And those final checks, they got nothing to do with the simulator. They got everything to do with making sure that the things are still online. And I forgot something. Give me a second. There's one quite important thing that I always like to do, and that is set up my extra monitor so I can actually see what you guys are seeing. And because I was running late today, I forgot about that. and I still wanted to be online for you guys at noon. So, trying to get that done. After which we will take off. Now, last video, some things have failed, amongst which the controls. Let's make sure they work today. They do work, which is pretty nice. That can definitely help keeping us airborne. Now my second computer, who is booting up right now, should be live shortly. It is a lovely environment, isn't it? Alright, and we have a monitor. So, let's get going. Let's try that again. Let's get going. Haha. By the way, you do notice that I'm not announcing driving on the runway, but there is no traffic whatsoever in this entire area, not on VatSim, not even in the simulated world. So we're safe to just taxi out. Now our altitude is going to be 8,000 feet today, and the landing, the airport we are going to, the Francisco Bangoy International, it does have ILS, but there's no proper ILS inbound route for us to take, so we're going to do the RNAV on runway 23, which basically is another tool to get guided in, but that is a long way away. In a way, the RNAV is working similar to the ILS. Oh, look at the windsock. We got a little bit of side wind. Alright, here we go. Let's get to it. Aircraft is leaning nicely into the wind. Guess it's trying to sabotage me. Oh yeah, it's windy out. And we're on our way. straight onto the magenta line. We're using the FLC to get to 8000 and be gone. Look at that out there. So the final leg of Indonesia. Now after we had a stretch of sea, we're going to see one more island in the distance and then we are gone. On to the Philippines. And just so you know, instead of just 200 miles, this is a 586 nautical mile flight. Just on the brink of what this aircraft can take in current weather conditions. Halfway through the climb. Gotta love that vanishing yoke feature. And what I would really like is another model of the 172, and that is the one that came into production in 1980, and that has retractable gear, less drag, more speed, aka nicer video or shorter video, whatever. But that is not yet available, so if the guys at Coronado are paying attention, that'd be a feature for me. Used to have that in Flight Simulator 10, aka X, and cannot get it to work in Flight Simulator 2020. I do hope that the guys at VatSim are considering coming online, because there is going to be a whole lot of sea to be seen in this video. Still climbing and approaching 5,000. Let's lean the mixture a little bit. There-ish. So that the engine doesn't get flooded. We keep climbing, don't crash, burn and die. And that. So if you just joined us, we are leaving Indonesia today. We just took off from the airport, Domine Eduard Osok, also known as Sorong. And we were flying initially to Sultan Babula, which is also in Indonesia, but that would be a very short flight. So I decided to skip that. We took off to the Philippines. We will be landing at Francisco Bangoy International in a good while. Let's see how we are doing currently. We have 182.7 nautical miles to go to the first waypoint, Samgay. We are at Unicom because there is no ATC online. The engine, obviously, we're climbing, so it is revving rather high. Fuel flow is looking great though, the pressure is good, temperature is good, exhaust gas temperature great, vacuum is okay. And we got quite a little bit of fuel left. Outside air temperature 14 degrees. So no need for the pitot heat. But that might just change, because in just a couple of flights we are going to be crossing over from Russia to Canada. But first we got to get to the Philippines, then Japan, then a couple of stops in Russia, after which straight on to Anchorage. .600 more feet to go to the cruising altitude. Let's get going. Sorry. Reaching the altitude. So let's throttle back a bit, save some fuel. And saving fuel is needed on this trip, or we're never going to make it. Let's not under rev the engine. 2340 is about where you want to be. Plus or minus a few revs. That doesn't really do that much. Now up ahead there is one big island. We've already seen that on our map. And then there is a whole lot of sea, so by the time we get there I will be speeding up time until we see land again. Now then, as soon as we get to the destination, we're making a slight turn so that we can actually make it to the airport, which is right here. And we got a built-in safety. If we miss, we can make an extra turn right there. We are not planning on missing. Ooh, that is a lot of water. And even though it can be beautiful, nobody wants to see just this for slightly over 5 hours. So yeah, that is why I'm speeding up time. And that can be done safely, because here's VatSim again. We are the only aircraft in the area. So there's no danger to other simmers. There is no crashes. There is no nothing. And yeah, there's nobody going to lose a life or having to restart their flight again because a super fast Cessna 172 has bumped into them. Now when speeding up time, I've said it in other videos as well, that is not always wise. Why? Well, for a start, I have a lot of the settings set to on, including most of the settings that can cause trouble, like GPS failure, engine failure, stuff like that. And if you speed up time, things go bad equally fast. Suppose the engine cuts out and the aircraft nosedives. Well then, of course, there is going to be a lot of trouble, a lot faster. Usually I speed up time 5 times and keep my fingers near the adjustment keys, so that if something goes wrong and the aircraft nosedives, then yeah, I hope not to crash, burn and die. Haha. But first, let's enjoy the last island of Indonesia we are going to see during this trip. So we're still in normal speed. Things are looking great in here. Does look a little bit hazy. Makes you wonder if we're setting up for a rainstorm. I didn't check the weather before we left. Okay. Not sure what this island is called, but I'm already liking it. Not a lot of people have seen Indonesia like this. That does look beautiful, doesn't it, folks? Not sure why there are patches of differently colored forest down there, but hey, I take that for granted if I would be able to live in an area like this. where there are markers, named markers, in the middle of the sea, I guess it is. Obviously it's something that is worth looking at, but we are going to see a lot more water shortly. And we're going to see that in a hurry. Take your pictures while you can, folks. We're coming up close to the edge of the island right here. After which I am not going to bore you guys with just a lot of sea for the next 5 hours, so we will be speeding up time then. View from in here is going to be incredibly shaky when we speed up time, because all of the motions from the aircraft, they are speeding up as well. And Tyler Gelpin says hi, and well, hello to you too. How are you doing today? Thank you for watching. Take out a map again. And Tyler says, where are we going? Well, Tyler, we have taken off in Indonesia, and that is the Domine Eduard Osok Airport, also known as Sorong Airport. We were supposed to go somewhere here that is the Sultan Babula Airport in Indonesia, which is a flight of just 200 nautical miles. Well, we've already passed that, so you know that I've changed plans. We are going to the Philippines, specifically the Francisco Bangoy International Airport, Romeo Papa Mike Delta, and that is going to be a lot of sea. Even after Samgay, we are still going to see a lot of sea. So we're going to speed up time until we see this land mass. Nobody wants to look at just a blue ocean for the next 5 hours, correct? So, just because we can, the option is there. We are going to keep watching these islands until we pass them and there's nothing but sea to be seen, and then speeding up time, going to the Philippines. And you may want to stick around because next week we are going north, and obviously that'll be in the direction of Russia. I urge everybody to grab an aircraft, come fly with us, and bring a lot of flower bombs. We're gonna surprise those Russians. Something like woo, poof, and the entire city is white. And we got somebody in the distance, and that somebody is not on the VatSim network, meaning even if we are at the same altitude and the same course, or at a ramming course, we are not going to be able to hit each other. And where am I from? Asks Tyler. I'm from the Netherlands, Europe. And this Dutch guy is now pressing R for Romeo, control, and then tap the plus sign 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. And we are going a lot faster right now. In time, that is. We can see that the shaking of the aircraft just became a little bit faster. Also the time it takes to get to the next waypoint, the distance is showing that is a bit faster. Now I got to click here and I got to click here. Check the VatSpy map. We are hauling about the same speed of a A320 Neo. Tyler asks if I'm flying airplane in real. Well, I used to. I don't have a license, don't get me wrong. I'm not a licensed pilot. But because I was flying the simulator all the time, that drove my girlfriend crazy, who later became my wife actually. And she decided to give me a couple of flying lessons for my birthday so I could experience what it was like in a real aircraft, aka another game. And yeah, I went berserk over that because there is virtually no difference than flying the aircraft from in here with all the knobs, bells and whistles compared to the real thing. The only real difference is that your chair actually moves in the real aircraft. So I actually bought some more lessons so I know how to fly, but that doesn't mean I'm allowed. If I go out and take an aircraft right now, they're going to shoot me. And not because I don't know how to fly, but because I'm unlicensed. And I really want to get my license in real life and go flying for a living. Sadly enough, I am going to be on the ground most of the time because I'm a trucker. And this here trucker, yeah, I like what I'm doing. So I'm going to stick to Sunday uploads for the simulator, for this series of videos anyway. Going to think up some other crazy stuff after that. If you have any suggestions, please throw them in chat. I am going to take them with me, and the craziest idea becomes the first to execute. Haha. Now, we're making good progress. And right here, right now, is the reason why I have sped up time. I know YouTube a little bit, and YouTube watchers, they get insanely bored when they get to watch this for 5 hours or more. They click away. So that leaves me with no viewers, and that is something, yeah, obviously when you're flying around the world there's going to be seas, and nobody wants to see this for 5 hours, not even me, and I'm creating the content. So with the speeding up time little thing, we are saving a lot of time. And it gives me a chance to talk to you guys, of course. And first time that I flew around the world in the Cessna 172, that was in Flight Simulator 10. aka Flight Simulator X, and I did not film that. So when I told people that I was flying around the world in a simulator, they were like, hell no, you did not do that, that takes too much time. And there was no way for me to prove or convince them that it actually happened. So that is how I got this idea to stream the entire flight again. Roughly 130 flights doing 1 or 2 legs a week, and just stream them live so I can later in the future I can point at people and say, hey, I've flown around the world in a Cessna 172. Hell no you didn't. Oh, did I not? Go and check YouTube. Just punch in my name, go to the playlist and have fun watching. And of course, somebody had to map out all of the airports where to go. I didn't do that. A couple years back there was this guy on Reddit, and he drew up this flight plan. All the ones in green are the ones that we have already done. So currently we're going right here. Then there's a couple more to go until we get back to London. Between us and London there is Russia, Canada, North America, South America, North America again on the opposite side. Then I think there's an airstrip on the North Pole, and there's one in Greenland, then one in Iceland, and a couple in the United Kingdom before we are back at the starting point. So yeah, that is a lot of flying to do. Speaking of which, let's have a look. We are 30 miles from the first waypoint, Sumgay. We have already flown off the map, which usually takes 1.5 hours. So let's adjust that. Engine 2400 RPM, that's a little high. But the fuel flow is looking good, the pressure is good, the temperature is great. The exhaust gas temperature is where it can be expected with the outside air temperature of 13 degrees. Vacuum is in the green. We have a lot of fuel right now. So I'm gonna call it good for now. And there we go, that is the waypoint. This is also one of those points where you really want to watch your aircraft, because the computer cannot calculate the direct route in 5 times the speed. So it'll make your aircraft swirl from left to right, trying to get back onto the magenta line, and eventually you crash. Now, because that happens, you want to be vigilant of the waypoints. The next one is in 140 miles, which we are going to do in record time. The entire route is 586 nautical miles. We took off here, we are here, so we done roughly a third in 54 minutes. Well, that does look good. The exterior could be a little bit more exciting, but obviously it comes with the territory. Occasionally you got to cross a sea. Now right over there's a little bit of disturbance in the horizon. That is this island, and the last bit of Indonesia we are going to see during this trip. "94 miles to Sadan." And Tyler Galpin says, "Can I get your Insta?" Sure you can, but I would have to create a Instagram before I can give it to you. And I'm not on other socials except for Discord. The link to that one is in the description of the video. And that allows you to text or talk directly to me. And that is almost the only social that I have, actually. Well, no, that is not even really true, because I do have a Facebook somewhere. I haven't used that in years. So I guess you're pretty active on Instagram then, Tyler, are you? Press the heading knob. Pressing a heading knob is very important. Why? Because it puts the heading bug in the direction you're going, and we can now see that the magenta line that we are following is not exactly in front of us, meaning there's wind coming from our right. Now if the navigation fails, that can be a problem, and you can resort that problem by following the heading so that at least you're going into the direction you plan to go. And I am always expecting trouble because of the way that I set up the simulator. And again, going 5 times faster than real time. If it goes wrong, I better get there quick. Because, yeah, trouble occurs 5 times faster. Now we can see the progress that we made from the airport where we took off. We are approaching halfway point. And the leg that we have done right now, that would be roughly 3 hours. And those 3 hours, yeah, we did that in 1 hour, including setting up the aircraft, getting to the runway, the entire pit. So that just shows you the amount of speed that we got right here. I was in another video the other day, and well, I basically just popped up in somebody else's live stream. Yeah, he was in an A320neo and I was still on the ground, he was still on the ground, and we were like, I bet you that I can get to JFK's faster than you can. And he was like, oh come on, my A320 eats Cessna 172s for breakfast. And I was like, okay, come on, show me. That was a 1 hour flight for him. So it would have taken me at least 6 hours. He didn't expect me to know that trick about speeding up time. Meaning, I overtook the A320neo. I was behind him in the queue to take off. And I landed before him. He was like, how the heck? Hey buddy, have you ever heard of hot rods? Have you ever heard of people actually revving up? And he was like, nah, not possible. How? What? Huh? And I couldn't contain myself. I was laughing so hard I nearly peed myself. So I admitted to cheating at that point. And he was like, hey, well done, mate, well done. Speeding up time also takes up a lot of fuel now, doesn't it? We are about halfway, and so is the fuel. I really hope it is not going to interfere. Revs are still slightly high. The heck? There we are. Oh, we already passed Satan. Meaning that in a... what's that gonna be? That'll be roughly 15 minutes, I reckon. We're going to see land again and resume normal speed. Woo! If we look at the V-Pilot, we see that there is a station online. It is not in our area because those are blue outlined. We are, however, going to listen in on them. One two 6.7. Let's see if we can hear them. The range is quite a bit. So this activates COM2 and we are listening there. We are transmitting on COM1 because that is the microphone. There is not a lot to be heard. Obviously we can try to talk to them, but that is a long way away. Fuck it, let's do it. Tokyo Control, Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima, radio check please. I doubt they can hear us. Actually, I'm rather convinced. They are serving aircraft that are way up in the air. This is us. And we're trying to reach them. There's barely even... there's simply no chance that they can hear us. So back to 122.8 aka Unicom. We are making great progress. You can see that the winds have changed a little bit because our aircraft is now looking to the left of the magenta line. This makes it a little bit more clear. It is trying to adjust from side winds. Okay, let it be just that. Image looks stable, but if you look at the altimeter, you can see we're still shaking and still pretty fast. What is the distance to the next waypoint? 97 miles. Okay, 96. at Dapel. We're already over land, so normal speed. Can already see some contours in the distance. I'm going to go for a quick potty break and then I'll be back. And we're back. The contours are getting more clear. And we are racing towards Dapel. Alright, and as promised, we are over land. So, normal speed again. Don't need text anymore. Yeah, we're getting closer. Couple mountains in the way, and none of them are in our way. By the way, the second reason why I went back to speed at normal time is that there are aircraft in the area, and they don't really understand a Cessna 172 doing well over Mach 7. I never went Mach 7, but you get the idea. After the bell, it is almost time to start descending. Let's prepare the aircraft for that. $3,000 is where we want to be at Cayenne. It doesn't really matter. Let's already engage vertical speed down 300 feet a minute. And yeah, let's glide in slowly. We still have quite a bit of distance to cover. We're making this turn into the airport. All aircraft in hearing distance. This is Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima. Out of 8,000 for 30,000 we're going to go RNF 23 at Romeo Papa Mike Delta. And that was my futile attempt to communicate with other aircraft. I doubt anyone is in hearing distance, but hey, at least the ones that are now know. And obviously you do not know with the other aircraft if they are able to hear you or not. And 126.1 is in hearing distance. Let's go there to see what we can pick up there. So the COM2 is still out. We are still communicating on Unicom, but we're monitoring their frequency to see what they're on about. They're still a long way away. Chances are actually that we're not going to be able to pick up anything, but that's still okay. The rules are aviate, navigate, then communicate. So they are last in line. Now seriously, the ATC does do a great job helping out pilots to get to the destination airport. currently got slightly over a quarter of fuel left. But we may need to notice that as soon as the indicators touch the yellowy bit here, the engine cuts out immediately. So I sort of want to get to the airport before that happens, which is still quite a bit away. And the revs going up again. Also because we're descending, of course. Let's watch those while we descend. So, if you just joined us, you can see a mystery aircraft popping up every now and then near the airport. We are going to Dapel, then onto Cayenne, and line up for runway 23. Still get a little bit of side wind. I think that'll be dealt with when we get to Dapel. Descending to 3000. And once we get to 3000, we are going to prepare the aircraft, obviously, to get to the ground. I think somebody is doing practice runs right here at the airport. What do you guys think about that? I'm already liking the Philippines. Look at that terrain down there. Guessing you can only read it when you have a big screen. But down here there's a pin that says Montserrat. That sounds familiar. Sounds like a destination. You know, like a tourist thingy. Let me know if I'm correct. Boink. There the aircraft went again. Appeared, disappeared. I got a hunch we're going to see them appear and disappear in this video. when we get closer to the airport. Yeah, this is happening, folks. There's land ahead, a lot of mountains. I do not think they are going to be a problem. Oh no, we're going to miss those by a long way. So we can already go down to 1500. It should do. And let's use proper techniques for once. Landing lights are on. Still descending rapidly, 600 feet a minute. I think that would look nice though, if you were down there, flying by, scaring everybody on the beach. That would be nice. Almost at the bell. In reality that is 8.6 nautical miles. 8.5 now. So we're going to follow the coastline to our right here. Just skip across on the way to Cyan and then line up. And there are other aircraft in the area. So let's abide by the rules. And that was somebody saying they are in the direction of Lanek, which is another waypoint in the area. Kinabalu Radio, good afternoon. Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima, radio check please. And either they can't hear me or I need to reboot VPilot, which is a reoccurring problem with it. Let's reboot VPilot. And I connected a little bit too fast. It threw me off. And we're back on. Kinabalu Radio. This is Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima. Radio check, please. Nah, they are not going to be able to follow whatever the heck I'm doing here. So let's just continue on our own plan. We got 4 miles to go to Dapel. And we get to zoom in a little bit. Miles to Dapel, then on to Cayenne. And that you hear, that is the radio station that we're monitoring. And they are texting the aircraft in the area. So I do not think that this particular ATC air range has voice capabilities, which is not uncommon on the VatSim network, but you actually rather hear voice. Correct? Let's give the engine back what it wants. Because when we ascended above 5,000 we leaned the mixture, and now we are quite a bit below 5,000, and that means you kind of want to put that back. So we're about to make a turn in the direction of Cayenne, and that guy was just popping up right here. I'm willing to bet that is just somebody practicing. And you can see we're making the turn right now to Cayenne, and that is 28.1 nautical miles. It should take us back in the general direction where we want to go, after which landing is actually an option. It is not an option over sea. We don't have a floatplane now, do we? Then again, it may float. Forgot something. Press the heading bug to put it in front of us. And as we can now see, the heading bug is now directly in front of the arrow, meaning that either we currently have headwind or tailwind. So let's look at the indicator, 107, but our TAS, true airspeed, is 115. Means we got the wind in our back. So we now know the wind direction. And that means we're landing in a side wind situation. That has all the possibilities of becoming a problem, unless the wind is just fairly calm. %of fuel left, and again, as soon as the indicator hits that yellowy bit down here, we are screwed and the engine cuts out. So that looks like we're going to make it fuel wise. I was kind of hoping it would be, because I calculated it up front. First I was calculating the original flight, which would have kept us back there in Indonesia. But right now we're saying hello to the Philippines. Because if the engine cuts out right now, I can simply swim to shore and we're there. And then I got a week to have somebody fish up the aircraft, clean it a little bit, fuel it up, and let's go. Slightly more serious look. After Cayenne, we're making a nice gentle turn. Should take us straight in. no hills, no troubles. Let's get there. And obviously when navigating you're also watching outside, so this bit right here is what we're seeing right here. Meaning we are doing great at the moment. Approaching 1500. After which we have to rev up a little bit again, because we throttled down when we started the descent. Obviously the aircraft turns into a bit of a glider and the engine has less force to work against, so it revs up. We had to throttle down and now we get to throttle back up. We don't want to remain a glider now, do we? The revs are coming up to 2320. Right there. 2320. Yeah, I'll accept that. Just a tiny bit more. We don't want to get too high or too fast or whatever. But we kind of want to keep the wind over our wings. That one is a little bit more accurate as the indicator on my yoke. 2360, that is a little high. One less. We should now be a relatively good speed. And after our next turn, gonna go out on a guess here. We should be good. See two aircraft inbound to land, and we're coming from the opposite side. That could be a problem. We may need lows after all if we need to divert. Outside air temperature, that did change from 12 degrees, doubling it to 24. Not yet a bad thing. But who knows? Sitrep, 38% of fuel left. We are at 1500 feet. So we did not yet turn our aircraft into a float plane, because it's not a float plane, but it could be a float plane. It may float very briefly, like 5 seconds. So let's instead get to the airport. We're less likely to sink over there. And we can see a lot more traffic over there right now. Makes you wonder if the people flying over here discovered something about the wind direction or the weather that I have not yet discovered. Kinda intimidating, isn't it? If you're inbound to land and suddenly you see a 747 approaching you. I kinda want to avoid the big boys. They scratch my paint. It is roughly 17.5 miles to Cayenne, this one. So I'm guessing the total is going to be about 30. Then we should be good. Look at them flying on top of each other. I hope there's a lot of altitude distance between the two of them. If we do happen to see one disappear, we know what caused it. Okay, so some aircraft do have voice capabilities. And suddenly we do notice that there
RNP05
are people on VatSim that are going the same direction as we are. Bangoy traffic, Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima, radio check please.
Radio 505.
Thank you for that, sir. All stations, Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima is now 15.5 nautical miles from Cayenne, inbound RNAV runway 23.
Station calling, the active runway is service.
I'm not sure I understand that correctly. Can you repeat, please?
The active runway is runway 05.
05 Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so that just threw off our plans.
Sputnik 2 to establish RNP-05.
We're going to use our heading bug and correct our course.
Double traffic, Air Blue 581 short final runway 05.
By the way, guys, Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima, you are live on YouTube. What would you like to say to YouTube? Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Viewers in YouTube, good evening.
Just search for my full name on YouTube. And Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima is now in the direction of Lois to follow in line and aiming for runway 05 eventually.
You can go direct waypoint Emers for initial fix for RNP-05.
I'm in a Cessna 172 flying around the world. I'm pretty sure I can turn on a dime if I need to. It's not a wide body jet.
That's cool.
Air Blue 581 landed and will expedite to backtrack and active.
Thank you very much. Sputnik 2 on 5-mile final.
So yeah, folks, that was a nice little bit of communication between pilots. They obviously corrected me because the active runway is in the opposite direction. We are now going runway 05. And it will possibly become a visual approach even.
Air Blue 581 clear to active.
Last station calling, your microphone volume is quite low.
Radio check.
4x5. So yeah, when we're roughly in the area of Lois. We are going to go north, search for the airport, and fly in visual. Should be interesting. Don't think these hills are going to cause any problems, and these mountains, they are a lot further
Transport
away.
22 landed and vacated runway 05 Alpha 4.
Welcome to the Philippines, sir.
And welcome to my hometown, sir.
Your hometown? Well, let's make it famous.
To my hometown as well.
Do you guys have any information or just any good stuff to tell about the hometown?
There are many fruits like durian, so you would like it.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to enjoy durian fruits, sir.
Well, there are other stuff like
The last bit was unintelligible.
Well, he said, besides the durian fruit, there are other varieties of fruits here in our city. And one quick fact, it's one of the most largest cities here in the Philippines, Davao City.
And in the entire area, because I'm going to be here for a week, right? Next upload will be next week Sunday. What is the best place to eat in your town?
It's kind of tricky actually, since there are many lots of good places to eat here.
I'm kinda leaning towards eating cows and pigs. So where do I go?
there's a special place here somewhere in Davao. It's pretty far from the center, but they have this what you call bulalo. It's a beef with it's a soup, beef soup, wherein there's a what you call this, beef. Uh, yeah, it's a beef soup. Yeah.
And what kind of things do I not do in the Philippines? Like when you go to India, suggesting eating cows is a big no-no. I'm pretty sure every country has a big no-no somewhere, so which is it for the Philippines?
Well, in our city, there's a no smoking ordinance, so you can't smoke in public places, only in designated smoking areas.
What? No smoking for a week?
Yeah, yeah, pretty like that. But don't worry because there are some places in Davao where you can smoke, but especially in public places like this, it's pretty illegal, or you will get a fine.
A fine even for lighting up a cigarette? Come on now.
Yeah, that's pretty strict here in our city, especially our mayor. It's before our mayor, he was a president, and before he became a president, he is a mayor here in Davao. So he has these many rules, which includes this non-smoking ordinance.
And is it like in Egypt where you can get hit by a stick as a punishment for breaking some rules, or what is it?
No, 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 not like that. It's basically if you are suspected of, let's just say you were caught doing cigarette in public places, they will fine you in a specific amount. Let's just say for first offense, they will fine you 500 pesos. So it's basically like $10, I guess.
$10. All right, that's about the cost of one cigarette right here in the Netherlands. So I'll take that.
Yeah.
Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima is past Lois and now going direction 312 towards the airport.
Right, I'll wait you till you land, sir.
Looks a little bit foggy.
Actually, I'm also a real pilot, so I've been doing some flight training here in Davao also.
I see both of you on the map.
Say again?
I said I see both of you on the map, stationary at the airport.
Yeah, we just landed recently.
Do you guys have a weather update for the airport? Because it is incredibly foggy in my area.
So far, about a few hours ago, it's pretty rainy, but now it's stopped. So you will expect some kind of fog upon your approach.
Ah hell, I got an RNF set up for 2-3 and I'm coming in visual to 05 now.
Roger. And may I ask, sir, what's your YouTube channel so that I can watch too?
The YouTube channel is my full name, Bram van Munster. You can also see that happening on VatSim. Yeah, that is basically it. Flying around the world in a Cessna 172. We're alive.
Alright, sir.
Now we are following this heading for a little bit, meaning that I am going to run to the toilet and I'll be right back. Quick pee-pee break. Alright, and we're back. Let's see. Well, the GPS is sort of useless right now, because that one wants to send us to 2-3. And the gentlemen have told me that we need to aim 0-5. In visual flight rules, this is considered to be a problem. Wondering if any of them would like to suddenly become ATC or something. As it is visual flight rules, I'm sort of making up the rules. Let's keep this heading a little bit longer and then start to line up. This is London all over again. Couldn't see a thing until you're 5 feet over the runway. At least there's some contours appearing in the far distance. And André Majus says, "Hi, watching your stream, haha, this is Alpha Bravo Alpha 581. Well, thank you for watching the show, which is about to become a shit show because of the fog and me coming in visual." Whereabouts are we? Good if we start heading north slightly. Let's give that a try. Maybe we will get a visual eventually. At least that's what I'm hoping. Nothing inside yet. But I'm pretty convinced we are getting close. Let's just get to shore first. Because flying over land means that even if the engine cuts out, it is not going to be a float plane. And yes, we are eligible for a engine cutout if we have to circle a lot. Again, in Flight Simulator 2020, as soon as the indicator hits the yellowy bit, the engine cuts out. That is a bad thing, we don't have a backup engine. Big boys do, we don't. Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima coming in hot, boys. What do you think about your own hometown from this angle?
And say again, please.
I said Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima is coming in hot. What do you think about your own hometown right now from this angle?
As you can see, you're already in our downtown, so there are many places you can visit here. So you're already entering the right place for runway 05.
Papa Victor Lima, right base. And we can now, as we're getting closer, see the alignment of the runway. And as we're going to be stunting no matter what. Let's go direct north. We should be able to get a visual on the airport. Somewhere, oh, there we go. Is that it? That could be it. The heck is going on down there? Is that all trash? Or is that a floating village? Anyway, first notch of flaps. We are getting closer and closer, so let's take the speed out a little bit. Francisco Bangoy Traffic International. Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima, right base to land 05. All traffic, be aware. Cessna 172, Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima, inbound to land.
Safe landing.
Do you happen to have a spare landing gear for a Cessna 172 somewhere, sir?
We'll see. I'll ask at the general elevation area. It's near here.
Well, let's figure out if we can do a visual here. Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima, inbound to crash. And so we were right, this is the actual airport, and we are going to slam down right there, second notch of flaps. Autopilot off. Oh yeah, puppy smells home. Engine to idle. Let's lose a bit of altitude. Scare some people that are obviously living down there somewhere. Final notch of flaps. Let's get her down there. Somehow. Oh, she feels heavy. Responds like a wide body.
500.
Thank you. Papa Hotel Bravo Victor Lima is final at Francisco Bangoy. I should have started that turn a lot sooner. But we'll get it. Let's line up slowly. Not exactly on the center line now there, are we? That looks somewhat better. Throttle idle again, and we got touchdown. Alright, and now to our left somewhere, I believe, there is the person we were talking to. Let's see if we can find him. I'm convinced he used up a lot more of the runway. Flaps are coming up. And however I can, let's not take the surface road this time, let's take the actual taxiway.
Welcome to Davao.
Thank you very much, sir. Will you turn already? Come on now. Now there's one aircraft on the map. There is one big boy straight ahead of us. I'm going to assume that that's the one, so let's park next to it. There's nobody else to disturb right here. At least yet. I'm going to call that good. The other guy is still visible as well. And I can unload my cookies without having to walk too far. Alright, parking brake is set. How about that for landing and parking?
That's your landing is good. And actually, if we're talking in real life, general aviation aircraft is supposed to be landing on the other side. There's old ramp, but it's okay.
Yeah, I figured it would be nice to land near you, park near you. Sorry.
I guess. It's fine, it's fine.
Anyway, so the parking brake is set, engine can go off, and I am convinced that we did this flight from Domine Eduard Osok, aka Sorong, in Indonesia, to Francisco Bangoy International in the Philippines faster than he could have done in his big boy toy, which is apparently quite tail heavy. The wheels on the front, the front nose wheel, they're floating. Okay, so let's deliver some cookies and call this a day. Now next week we are going to, let me scroll up, let's look at it, Ninoy Aguino. That is 520 nautical miles from here, so that is not happening today. Perhaps our guest knows. And yeah, after that we're going to continue our journey in the direction of Japan, then Russia, then the North Pole, then North America, South America, North America again, another bit of the North Pole, and then back down to Europe. So that is the plan. Thank you everybody for watching this stream, and I hope to see you all again next time. Bye bye now.